friends! Welcome back to the Project Return online classroom. I'm Miss Celia, and today I wanted to come at you with a psychology video. We're going to be talking about personality. What is a personality? How is it formed? And how do we study it? Personality is defined as a set of characteristics, traits, emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. And these personalities that we have are complex and evolving every single day. We are definitely not the same person we were when we were a child. We are not even the same person we were a year ago. We pick up new things along the way, and that's what really shapes our personality. Personality shapes how we view the world, each other, and even ourselves. It's made up of our self-perceptions, our attitudes, beliefs, values, and morals that make us who we are as an individual. There is no real way to measure personality. Everybody is different, right? So we can't really inventory somebody's personality, but there are thought to be 5 hallmark personality traits that make up the fundamentals of who we are as individuals. First one being openness to experience. And our openness to experience consists of things like how curious we are to learn and experience new things, our imagination, do we have a wild imagination? And things like our preferences to experience new things versus stick to a routine. Conscientiousness is the second major personality trait, and conscientiousness is being careful, wanting to do things successfully and the right way, and the desire for things to be orderly and according to a plan. So somebody who's high on conscientiousness will likely become a little bit more anxious if things don't go their way or how they planned things to go. Extroversion versus introversion is the third personality trait, and extroversion versus introversion is an interesting dynamic. So are we more likely to prefer staying in by ourselves, hanging out alone? If you are, you're probably an introvert. If you are more likely to go out, hang out with friends all night and want to meet new people and see new people, then you're more likely an extrovert. Usually we fall on in the middle, or some people are really one way or really another way. And then agreeableness is the fourth personality trait. Agreeableness is what's inside of us that makes us kind, sympathetic, and cooperative. Empaths usually score really high on agreeableness. An empath is somebody who is able to feel everybody around them's emotions and be able to relate, sympathize, and empathize. So people that can really relate to people tend to be more high in agreeableness. And then the fifth one is titled neuroticism. And neuroticism basically refers to our emotional stability. Are we able to manage our emotions, control how we feel in a given situation, or if something goes wrong, are we more likely to become anxious, get moody, or more easily frustrated? These 5 traits that I just listed to you make up what is called the 5-factor inventory. And like I said before, there's no absolute way to measure personality. And these traits don't tell us everything we need to know about a person, but they can provide a really good insight on what kind of a person you are. We don't really know much about how our personality is formed, but we do know that it is changing throughout our entire lifetime. Like I mentioned earlier, we are not the same person we were a year ago or when we were a child, and we will not be the same person in the next 10 years, right? There's a big debate on the formation of personality, and this is called the nature versus nurture debate, which you might have heard of before. The nature side of it suggests that our personality traits are concrete from birth, and that there's a genetic factor making us who we are. So some examples of this would include being reward dependent. Some people's brains are more likely to feel better when we receive a reward than others. Some people's brains release more oxytocin that make us feel happy and more fulfilled, while some people don't have as much oxytocin released when they receive a reward. That's something with a biological and genetic basis. Also, things like being risk takers or being adventurous can also have a genetic basis. Are we more likely to avoid the possibility of harm, or are we more likely to go out, be more curious, take more risks so there's a big debate between the two of those. For example, some babies are more naturally close to their mothers, while some babies would much prefer being put down and left to crawl around and explore. And that's something that's not made up by their environment. That's something that's innate from them from birth. Now, the nurture side of the debate is kind of the opposite side. So this theory suggests that the way we are raised and our environment plays a much larger role in shaping our personality rather than a genetic backing. For example, if a child grows up not having a secure attachment to their parents, then they are more likely to not be able to form strong personal bonds with other people. Whereas a child who did grow up with a secure attachment to their mother and their parents have a better time forming these strong bonds with people later in life. So that has to do with the environment, because that's the relationship between the individual and their mother. Also, peer pressure is part of the nurture debate. And peer pressure, we usually hear about like people trying to influence you in a negative way, but peer pressure isn't always a negative thing. For example, we are actually more likely to be similar to the people we hang out with rather than be more similar to a complete stranger. And we may not even be aware of this. The people we spend our time with really do rub off and influence us in ways that we don't even realize. Culture also has an interesting development for this side of the debate, and that's because cultures at different parts of the world and different groups of people have different values and morals and societal beliefs that can shape us. Two individuals from completely different cultures may end up having completely different personalities and completely different traits as to what is desirable to their unique culture. Where on the flip side of this, two individuals from completely different cultures and societies may end up growing up very similarly and have very similar personalities later in life. As I mentioned before, it is a debate on theory, so there is no correct answer here, but the likely solution is that it is a combination of nature and nurture that makes us who we are. I hope you guys enjoyed my little Personality 101 video. Thank you so much for returning to the Project Return online classroom, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye, guys.